Good morning, Kalispell. So today I want to take a quick little minute. I did a post on Facebook here a few days ago about a new piece of technology that we have, which really goes to show you guys how invested we are in helping you get better. And what we posted on was our pulse wave profiler, and we had literally tons of questions coming in on this thing. So what the pulse wave profile does is it allows us to see what your heart rate variability is. And I'm going to flip this camera around here in just 1 second here if I can get my finger on it. So if you look at the graph here, this is what this graph generates here. And I'm going to flip us back here in 1 second. But what it does is it allows us to predict what your overall adaptability is to your individual environment, and it does this by timing your pulse, and it's a good snapshot of your nervous system. It tells us like many different things. If you're having a stressful lifestyle, if you have bad habits, poor dietary choices, limited exercise, constant emotional stress, things like that. And what it does do is allow us to see if you're in a fight or flight response or if you're in a more suppressed response. A lot of people end up being stuck in a fight or flight response, which can be really quite exhausting. So I'm going to flip us back here. So if you look on this vertical axis here, the one going straight up and down here, that kind of tells us your overall reserve of your nervous system. And then if you look at the horizontal axis, so going left or right here, try to get in on the bottom because it's exactly how it plots out for us, is you'll see those words sympathetic and parasympathetic. So the sympathetic nervous system is being associated with the fight or flight response, and you really need to be able to turn that thing off. Ideally, we would love to see everybody right up here in this green box. You have a healthy reserve, and you have good balance of your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. A lot of times what we see, especially in younger patients, is they'll end up here in this upper left quadrant. So, especially athletes, we'll see them up in there. So what we have to do is we have to look at this and go, really, are they sitting at a stop sign with their foot on the gas and revving their engine? Or do they just have a really bad braking system, which would pull them over here into this section, which we use in conjunction with our other scans that we have associated here, which we have a thermal scan and a surface EMG, and we put all these puppies together. I'm not really going to get into those too much, but we're going to talk more about this. So that first box is it tells us you're kind of stuck in overdrive, you have a lot of stress, you really can't pull it in the way you should be able to. But the awesome thing is that people have neuroplasticity involved, and it's actually pretty easy to get them back up into that little green box where they should be so they can meet their everyday stresses. Another thing that we see, and not quite as often, is people drifting over here into the upper right column, and you can see there it says that they might be exhausted. So when we look at that, a lot of times what we see in people in that state is their braking system's just engaged too much. They were over here in this upper left column. They can't really adapt too well anymore, so what their body's doing is starting to recruit their nervous system, which controls everything in the body, and it's going to try and bring you back midline here. And what we're going to do is we're going to see a lot of release of hormones, and it also comes down into this lower left too. Those two are pretty close related. We see people in this lower left quadrant, they really are. They're trying to pull it back in. They're trying to have good adaptability with their nervous system, but what they do is they get just overstressed, and what they do is they recruit their body to release adrenergic hormones such like adrenaline, things like that. And then you'll see people when they're really, really stressed, distressed. That's just too much stress. That's like the bear jumping out of the woods, and you can't turn that fight or flight response off, and you are stuck down here. Your body is not doing well, which is something we can really help people with, getting them adjusted, really helping them with some dietary choices, and really helping them build that reserve back up and bringing them to a more normal state. It does take quite a bit of work, but it's one of these things, you got to put some skin in the game and start doing things right, or you end up down here in this weakened state, the lower right hand side. That's something we as chiropractors very rarely see, and we don't like to see people in this zone. This zone is like the no fun zone. Usually people are pretty heavily medicated. Deep within the medical community, they just feel drained, like they feel shot. They've got nothing left. The one thing that's really, really interesting here, and I'll give you guys an analogy to the people that are watching here. So, person that would be like your stereotypical prime example of a person being in this weakened state would be, because we just had a snowstorm here, so let's just pick on some random 50-year-old guy. He goes out, he shovels snow, and he drops dead. That just as easy as that. He has no adaptability left of his nervous system. He thought he could meet the demands of his everyday life, and he can't just do it anymore. So this is one of these tools that we're really using here, and we're getting some awesome results. We've been tracking it now for a while, and we've helped quite a few people get back into that little green box. I'm going to flip us back around here. Woo! There we go, bright and early. So if you guys want to come in and get these scans done, that is just one of a 3-part scan that we are now offering for you guys. The other two, as I said it earlier, one is a thermal scan. I'll flip it back around here. I'll show you guys what they are. So here, this little puppy. This is the pulse wave profiler. There's tons of research on this little guy about heart health. There's a bunch of different versions of it. This one's about the most high-tech one you can get there, made by P.L.L.C. Our next one here, this guy here, this is our thermal scanner, which I'll do another video here in a day or two when I get some time, talk about this one. And then we have our surface EMG here, which is really cool. So when you combine all three of those together, what you get is an awesome report, and it's called a core score. But we will get to that here in a few days. And if you guys have any questions or anything about it at all, shoot us over a message or give the office a call, and we will get right to you. All right, everybody, have a great day, and feel free, leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section. If you don't want to, like I said, give us a call. Have a good day.